Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Teleislas News, the most important news of the day. In order to recover public space in the parking lot of the Gustavo Rojas Pinilla International Airport, vehicles that have been at the place for too long has been removed. More information with Silbert Michel. And in other news, in a joint work of the Armed Forces, 100 houses have been roofed in Old Providence. Gisela with more information.
With the purpose of supporting the victims of Old Providence and Santa Catalina, work has been done in the reconstruction of houses and supporting the roofing of those houses that were damaged by the natural disaster. The commander of the specific command of the archipelago spoke about it.
We have achieved an important milestone, and that is the National Navy has reached the 100th roofed house in Old Providence and Santa Catalina. In total, we have already 340 houses with the participation of our National Army, our National Police, and other entities as the private consortium. There are 100 families, approximately 400 people that have been benefited by the National Army in this work.
The National Navy is also working on the new houses together with the National Army, taking into account that they work on the structure that is delivered to the contractors who finally do the finishings on the houses.
And deputies of the Departmental Assembly have been following up on the implementation of the E.S.E, the state social enterprise.
Hello, Lisa, and all the TV viewers. I say hello from here from the Departmental Assembly because different deputies made a visit and a report about how the state social enterprise in the departmental hospital is coming, what is happening, and what they find in this report that they made to know and to tell the community what is going on.
We have made a follow-up procedure by means of a visit to the hospital with the idea of identifying in a closely manner the issues, especially in the face of everything that has been happening these days. In light of this, we have to say that we believe it is a viable project and that it is here to offer a solution to the issue of health services.
The deputies also announced that they don't find any massive layoffs. So that what happening right now is that they are in a process of contracting all the people who maybe up to now don't have contract in the state social enterprise.
The social state enterprise has not fired anyone really. What we found out is that they are in a birthing process in which what they are going through is the stage of hiring personnel. At no time there has been a massive layoff as others have wanted to show or display.
The deputies also begged the state social enterprise that they should clarify different points. The first one is to be clarified in the transition progress, to also be clarified in the money that the departmental government are going to give them, and also to be very clear on who people they are going to contract or who they are not going to contract. This is all the information I report from here from the town of the island. Continue, Lisa, in the studio.
I know we do a balance of the coronavirus, and this is the COVID-19 situation in the archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina.
According to the latest COVID report issued by the National Health Institute for the department, to date San Andres has 8 active cases and Providence has 8 active cases. A total of 2,772 cases has been presented, 2,604 in San Andres and 168 in Providence. 2,706 have been recovered, of which 2,548 were from San Andres and 158 from Providence. Also, 48 people have died from COVID, 43 in San Andres and 2 in Providence. Health Secretary Julian Davis Robinson stated that currently there is no high COVID occupancy on the island.
We receive reports daily on the status of the hospital's installed capacity, and the I.C.U. represents a 6% occupancy.
According to the head of the health portfolio, in the I.C.U. there are 3 people per COVID-19 and the other 5 people are in other rooms.
And the Prosecutor's Office announced the capture of 2 men who were possibly involved in extortion acts on the island.
The Attorney General Office of the Nation, throughout this press release, indicated that they presented before a judge of guarantees, Jordan Orlando Pusey and Ivan Dario Pineda, who, according to the prosecutor, will be responsible for extorting money for residents and different economic sectors of the archipelago.
Una fiscal de la seccional San Andrés.
A prosecutor of the San Andres sectional achieved that a judge of control of guarantees will ensure security measure in prison to 2 people allegedly responsible for extorting some citizens of the island. The evidence collected by members of the Gaula of the National Police show that those involved made intimidating calls to several boatmen and businessmen who demanded the payment of a sum of up to 50 million pesos not to attempt against their lives or that of their families.
The Gaula group of the National Police presented conversations between these men and their alleged victims, where intimidations ranged from the destruction of boats to homes.
He knows the money he owes, and we have given him too much time. If he doesn't pay today, Friday at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, we will set his house and his boat on fire. Everything is fine, Sebas. Nothing is happening. Everything is fine. You heard? Everything is fine. Nothing is happening. You've heard? Nothing is happening. After, don't cry and calling me, since I have given you more than enough time.
A prosecutor from the San Andres District Attorney's Office charging them with the crimes of aggravated extortion, use of minors to commit crimes, and conspiracy to commit crimes. The charges were not accepted by the defendants, who will have to serve a prison sentence.
And in a press conference given to the media, the Archipelago Police Commander announced the capture of Alias Chonchito.
The National Police, through intelligent work, achieved the capture of Alias Chonchito, who will be involved, according to the authorities, in the events that occurred last October 4th of 2020, where the citizen Victor Manuel Gavallo Mora was killed by a firearm in the area of Rockhole.
Estamos presentando una nueva captura.
We are presenting a new capture of another person that we have recognized for having committed the homicide of Mr. Victor Manuel Gallo in the area of Rockhole. This homicide occurred last year in the month of October, and through an activity of criminal investigation with intelligence and material evidence, alongside the prosecutor's office, we have managed to obtain an arrest warrant against Mr. Alberto Suarez, alias Chonchito. The capture of this offender is achieved, and once again we have managed to resolve a homicide that occurred in the previous year.
The capture was placed at the disposal of the General Prosecutor's Office of the Nation, who presented him before a judge of control of guarantees for the imputation of charges. On the other hand, the police captured a 23-year-old woman who was trying to enter 416 grams of marijuana. The woman, who came from the city of Cartagena, was carrying the drug inside her shoes in the form of an insole, according to the authorities. The woman was placed at the disposal of the prosecutor's office, where she will have to answer for the crimes of trafficking, manufacture, and possession of narcotics.
And as we mentioned before, in order to recover the public space in the parking lot of the Gustavo Rojas Pinilla International Airport, vehicles that have been at the place for too long and has been removed. For more information, let's go with Sylvette Mitchell.
Hello, Lisa and viewers. Good afternoon. Well, the administration announced today that they start the space recovery of the Gustavo Rojas Pinilla parking lot, because we know that this space is for the entire community, but it is not enabled for the permanent part. That is why today they carry out the removal of vehicles that had a long time here in the parking lot of the Gustavo Rojas Pinilla Airport. The Secretary of Government, Lisa Hayes Matias, announced about this matter.
Today, the Secretary of Planning, Mobility and Government are meeting at the Civil Aeronautics to remove all vehicles that have misused the public space of the parking lot, and we also want to remind the community in general that these spaces are not for washing cars and much less to use as a parking lot. However, the Governor's Office and Civil Aeronautics are notified, and this space can be used in a good way. This is a first exercise for us to learn to live in coexistence and to display civic culture.
It is worth to remember to the community that the people that have the authorization for a permanent or a long parking is people who work at the International Airport Gustavo Rojas Pinilla. This is all information. Lisa, continue studio with the most relevant information of the day.
And although the parking lot is open, it is not a place to park permanently. The penalty for leaving vehicles in prohibited places is 15 daily minimum wage. In addition, the vehicle may be immobilized and taken to the impound yard. Now let's get to know other facts that are making news in our brief news sections of today.
During the Holy Week weekend, the National Police carried out in the Archipelago Department plans of registration, control, and identification of persons in order to prevent crimes that after public safety within the framework of Plan 100 against micro-trafficking. On the other hand, the group of citizen prevention of the National Police entity socialized line 155 of attention and guidance to women victims of violence on the beaches of Sprat Bight during the Holy Week. The Corporation for the Sustainable Development of the Archipelago announced that from April 1st until July 31st, the black crab closed seasons begin, which prohibits its capture, processing, transport, and commercialization. The environmental entity reminds restaurants not to offer this product, otherwise they could be subject to sanctions. From April 7th through the 9th, the inhabitants of the archipelago will be able to deliver their post-consumer waste, which includes insecticide containers, single-use batteries, electronic waste, and tires, on a day of collection of waste led by the Ministry of the Environment. There will be several points established for the collection. In Old Providence, it will be at the headquarters of Coralina. It is estimated that during this collection day, about 50 tons, approximately 326 meters of post-consumer waste will be collected in the archipelago, which will be transported to the mainland by air and sea in order to ensure proper management of these by authorized managers.